Kombat Kast starts now.
All right, we've done it. We are at the finish line for the Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate streams, and today we are going to be showing off, last but not least, Mileena. So let's get going. Let's bring everybody into frame and talk about what we have coming up. I'm Tyler Lansdowne, one of the community managers at NetherRealm Studios.
Stephanie Brownback, Senior QA Analyst.
And I'm Derek Kurtzik, here to remind you that it is Movember. So let's grow some stashes and raise awareness for male health issues. Yeah. And it's Mileena Day!
And
Woo!
It's Mileena Day. We're very excited. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of people want Mileena to come back.
Really?
Right?
What?
Really, yeah. My Twitter's let me know that everyone wants Mileena to come back. So Mileena is here. Before we get started, we do want to get to that. We're going to talk about Mileena today. We're going to talk a little bit about balance. We're not going to go super in depth. You'll be able to read the patch notes when they do come out. But we're going to talk about some really, really cool stuff in the balance world. And then we're going to sign off and just get everybody hyped for the release of Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. So let's real quick. I'll start. We'll talk about what we're excited about. And I will tell you what I'm excited about for Mileena. Mileena's a character that I've never really played. I've messed around playing Mileena. Not, stylistically doesn't match how I play. But I am excited for my friend Derek to have Mileena come into the game so we can finally have some matches we've been waiting for. We haven't had them yet, but I can't wait to be able to play against Derek when I'm playing Rambo. He's playing Mileena. I'm super excited to have, when your friend gets one of their mains, that's just fun to see. That's my excitement.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Mileena community because, they are just passionate. They definitely have let us know on Twitter that they wanted her. And, I got Sindel and Frost came back, and I was super excited for that. So it's awesome to see another character community get their character. And I played Mileena a lot in MK9. I like her a lot in Deception. Then I kind of didn't play her much in X, and now I'm back to playing her a ton. So she's always been kind of in my secondary group of characters in MK that I like.
And Mr. Kurtzik.
Mileena has always been my favorite character. It has been an honor to get to work on her and help design her. I don't get to design many characters because I'm doing so many other things. But the chance came to work on Mileena again, and I think the fans are going to be real happy with some of the stuff and changes that we've done with her, with also keeping it very true to Mileena. She is a crazy player. You get to play crazy and play the way you want to with her. And I love her. Let's get to it.
The closest Derek's ever gotten to the camera before. Derek's like, so that was good.
I feel as if, you can hear me better if I'm closer. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
I think you're trying to show off the Fu Manchu, which does look, I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Thank you so much.
Pretty good.
This is the first stash I've had. Thank you.
Maybe even a 9. Let's, before we talk about, like Derek just talked about how Mileena is what you want from Mileena, let's quickly show, hopefully, the trailer you've already seen. But let's take a look again.
Mother wants us to live as sisters.
Further proof that she's lost her mind.
Come, let us be a family.
Fight! Fatality. Mileena wins.
There we are. That is Mileena right there. You okay? You okay, Derek? Everything fine? Okay.
I
That's
have to
Mileena.
say, that intro, it's like a sequel to Katana's intro. It's so great.
It's so close to being a sequel to her intro.
That Fatality, I really like it. You know, Melina's got to go fast.
Got to go fast.
I love it. Gotta go fast.
Let's talk real quick. Like a question everybody probably can answer already. What type of players will gravitate towards Mileena? What is Melina's play style? I mean, we'll get more into that when we see some of her variations. But like, who's looking at Mileena? How does she play? That sort of thing. Stephanie and Derek.
Well, I would say Derek actually just kind of nailed it. She's Mileena. She's classic Mileena. It's kind of like, I view her, like her base kit at least, as like pretty much Mortal Kombat 2 Mileena transported into 2020. So it's like pretty much the classic moves with a fresh coat of paint, and then some new stuff thrown in that's pretty flashy and cool. But mostly it's the Mileena that you kind of are used to, and you want to be back in a new game with, you know, so new engine and stuff. She plays differently, but I think she'll be very familiar to Mileena players.
There is something about the animations that, like, there's something that's like almost ballerina about her in a way, like the way she moves her body. Super cool, like how that turned out. Like she flows really, really well.
And I absolutely love, then you're right, but then this is a big thing about MKX2, then just absolute animal savagery, like kind of a graceful, like almost childlike, like having fun kind of movements. And then she sticks out this huge, weird tongue and then bites you in the neck.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you can tell she thinks she's being, like, you know, classy and graceful while she's eating you.
The way I've always seen Mileena is she's like the Harley Quinn of our game. And to always make sure that she's like almost a ballerina and elegant with everything she does, but she's savage as hell. Like she will crush your eyeballs in as she rolls off of you into some sort of just stylish pose. Even her vanish is just perfect personality of the blend between crazy and beautiful. That's basically Mileena. She's crazy and beautiful, and I love her. And now she has these claws as well, so she can really dig into you more than before.
Yeah, she has these like Catwoman style sharp claws, and that also applies to her gameplay, where she now has a bunch of like really quick slashes and stabbing moves and stuff. Like her jabs and her down one and stuff use it, which is pretty cool.
Well,
sorry, she still uses her size all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at her just general sort of fight style, and Stephanie can explain it. And after that, we can kind of discuss that with Derek as well.
Sure.
So you can see here the claws. She has a couple moves that use it. This is one of her fast mid strings, and it has a couple options. The second one is a crushing blow if she ends the combo with more than 8 hits, which is pretty easy to do for a ball roll. Then she also has pretty much the core to her mix-up, is this really quick overhead. It has great range, it's safe, it's fast, it's awesome. She does not have like a really like awesome low safe launcher, so she has to commit or just do a low damage after like a sweep. But I think that totally fits your play style. Is you have to be the type of player that's willing to just do a low into the ball roll and just deal low and not worry if they're going to block it. This low here forward 2 has a crushing blow if it's a counter hit, and then she gets a combo, which again goes into kind of a higher risk thing, but good damage if it hit. This is her forward 4, which I wanted to show because I think it's one of her better like mid attacks because it's really easy to hit him from. And the last thing I wanted to show was her throws, because she has a similar crushing blow to Rambo, where if it's been 10 seconds without jumping or getting hit, she will bite them in the neck and It's very, very gross and nasty. But again, you're Mileena, so you haven't jumped in 10 seconds. That's a tall order. So I think you deserve to eat their throat.
Derek will never get that crushing blow. You'll never get it.
Never.
No, probably
It'll
not.
never happen.
But
I love the
base.
Good.
I was gonna say the base of her is quick up close attacks and then closing in gaps with I believe it's her away 1 or away 2 where she does that lunge. So that just puts her in place to get right on top of you to either go for the forward 4 or with the away 3, so you can mix up the highs or lows and then go into the ball and combo city.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You know, her weapons, claws and Asai, are not, they're kind of outranged by like Jade's pole and stuff like that. They're not the greatest range in the world, but they're fast. She has mix-ups, good mids. So, you know, kind of mid-range, she has to take a risk to get in. You could like YOLO jump, ball roll, go for one of the slower moves, the back 2. But then once you get in, good damage, good combos, good crushing blows, pretty fast. It's high risk, high reward, which Mileena players, yeah, putting their foot on the pedal and just going all in is exactly what they do.
And no blocking. Who does that?
There's just no reason. Next up, let's take a look at her default special moves.
So this is what I mean by she's kind of the classic Mileena. Side toss is back, really fast. She throws 2 at once and it takes up a ton of space. I think it's a really great projectile. Ball roll is exactly what you expect it to do. Super quick, leaps to combos, so she amplifies it. Great whiff punisher. Punishes stuff that's like pushed back on block, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then the teleport kick. So this has a cool new thing where she can amplify and she goes into a throw and you can choose which direction to throw her, which is pretty cool. You can throw them in the corner, then go for your pressure and you don't, you know, have to get in again, or throw them out of the corner if you don't want to deal with that. You have a life lead, whatever. So it's pretty much what you expect. She can zone and she can counter zone really well because it's pretty risky to throw a projectile when she has both teleport and roll.
And roll.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree more than that statement. It's classic Mileena.
Yep.
So you're saying, I just want to just reiterate something. When you do the teleport, if you amplify it, it turns into a throw.
Yes.
And you can choose the direction in which you throw them.
Exactly.
Awesome. Super cool.
So I think, sorry, I just, to kind of reiterate, I think it's, you just pick her base moves. It's like, this is pretty much the Mileena that, pretty much boilerplate Mileena, how you'd expect her to play. But then her abilities and her variations, I think, are where a lot of the new moves are and new versions of old moves and stuff like that. So you kind of determine which of her play style you want to like focus on, and that's where there's like, all the fresh new stuff, which is pretty cool.
And
Which we can take a
look.
Go ahead.
Is we threw in like her classic MK3 combo as well, which is just a good throwback to Mileena.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. It's the size.
Let's take a look.
The double kick. It's awesome.
Let's take a look real quick then at variation 1 of Mileena.
So this one I think is a mobility-based variation. The first thing is she can do her Sai in the air. It's great. She can amplify it to recover faster and get combos. The second thing is she can do the teleport in the air. And this is awesome for like faking out jump ins. And then lastly, she has her low Sai back from MKF, which was one of my favorite projectiles. And it has a unique crushing blow if it goes under high and you amplify it. So this really makes her mobility better, and then it makes her counter zoning even better because she can jump over a projectile and teleport. She can use the low side to go under highs. It also, you could actually use it for mix-ups too. Like you can mix up her overhead with it, her low side, mid-range, if you wanted to take a risk. So yeah, I think that's kind of, you are happy with the way she plays, you just want better options for getting in or stopping them from keeping you out. And then, you know, that's kind of the way you go. You get to play her up close game because you don't have to worry about their zoning and you can mix up your jump ins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, like, you can control with her low zoning because you're not going to get out zoned because you're going to low profile a majority of things. And then once you see somebody trying to move to get out of that, you just teleport, land on top of them, and do what Mileena does.
Yeah, I mean, I personally use the loci because exactly for that reason. Like, if you try to zone that version, I think you're probably going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Can we real quick go back to something from a little earlier? Just I want just a better explanation for those who may be younger, haven't played it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the UMK3 combo? Which one is
Stephanie,
that?
go ahead.
Oh, it's just one of her combo strings. It's 2, 3, 3, 4, I think. It just looks pretty much like a new modern day version of one of her classic button combos that you can input in UMK3. It's
Awesome.
a fun Easter
That's
egg.
great.
I think if you're an old like me, you'll immediately recognize it.
And old, and that's the good thing too about the studio. We have a lot of people in the studio who are
Old?
locked into how the old games played, old who know the lore super well and know how the old games used to play and whatnot. Some of the earlier iterations of Mortal Kombat. So that's awesome to have Easter eggs for all ages of our fans. Super cool. Let's take a look at Variation 2.
So variation 2, I think, is the opposite. I think it's a Rushdown variation. The first thing is she loses a roll, but she gains this brand new move, the Condom Dash, which I think is pretty awesome. Super quick low, so you can use that in mix-ups. She can go into projectiles. It has an amplify, and it actually has a double amplify. And you can also cancel it. Like, you can start to run, hold it down, and then just cancel it and not do the attack and go for a mix-up. And this has a crushing blow. Then she also has a bunch of extra throws at the end of her strings. I think she gets 3 of them. You can see her low gets a new one, and I think this one's definitely the coolest. She gets this grab at the end, and it can actually restand. And then she can get a pretty decent mix-up. And then, lastly, she gains a command grab. This move is freaking awesome looking. How is that not the coolest thing ever? This has a crushing blow for punishing a wake-up roll. Knock them down. They don't want to deal with their mix-ups. They are definitely going to deal with their mix-ups. And now they're blind.
I love every time we show a new character, there's always a variation that has, not always, 50% of the time, that has like grabs, and I'm like, well, I mean, maybe I could try Mileena. Like, maybe I could do that, because that variation looks right up my alley with all, like we talked about last time, the two-player animations and whatnot. Just looks incredible. Awesome. There.
You stay away from her, pal. You just stay away from
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. All right.
I get it. I'll do it in my own time.
I would call that like basically the more savage, ravenous version of Mileena's for Variation 2. And it's probably, I would say, probably my favorite as well, because you're just rushing in, command grabs, the combos are flashy, and there's some cool brutalities attached to a couple of them.
Oh, one other thing is the command grab is her armor breaker. And if you use it on armor break, you get the crushing blow. So that's also really good too.
So you don't even need to do the prerequisite if you catch on armor break.
Right. And that also would complement the fact that it's like her Rushdown 1. You try to break away, you don't want to deal with her stuff, and you get caught.
All right. Excellent. That was number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's move on to number 3.
So number 3, I was trying to think of a theme and pretty much came up with it's kind of a cornucopia of newer stuff. First thing is she gets this special roll, which does extra damage and actually hops in the air, so she can go over stuff. Then she gets invisibility, which is a ton of fun. I mean, you can imagine, Mileena's already all over the place. You literally can't even see her. Like, I don't know a scenario more obnoxious than that. And then lastly, she gets a brand new move, which is pretty interesting. She slides her sai across the ground, and she can hold it and decide when she's going to lift it up, and then it'll come back down. So the opponent has to guess, are you going to delay it? Are you going to let it go really early? And then it has a crushing blow if it interrupts an opponent. So if they think you're going to delay it, and they try to just attack you out of it, and you didn't delay it, you can go ahead and amplify it. It's going to hit them right in the noggin.
All right. Let's go back real quick to the invisibility, because the invisibility does have some stuff with it too, correct? Like, don't
Yes.
you do less damage, right?
Yes, and it drains stamina. So there are downsides to using it, but I think it's pretty worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And then
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say the amplify slide is tracking, right?
Yes, if you just
Yes.
hold it, it will go to the opponent, and then it will know where they are. You don't have to do like a close, medium, or far, or whatever. So if they're full, you do have to hold it for a while, but yeah, it does track to where the opponent is.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool for setups. Like some of the creative players, I can already see, you know, some of the more creative players than me, like turning it invisible and then doing stuff with it, weird stuff in the corner, all kind of fun stuff like that.
It's hard to keep track of Mileena as it is, and when she's invisible, it just gets worse.
Right. We showed it earlier, but let's go back again. We're just like re-showing these things so you guys can get a clean view of it. Let's take a look real quickly at her fatal blow, which it's damn near a fatality.
It also, the into attack is pretty awesome because it's got really good range.
And she travels.
Let's take a look.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. We have a couple special things to show with Mileena because we know that everyone's really excited to see Mileena. It's been I've been getting tweets all week about Mileena. So we're going to show a brutality. We're also going to show a friendship later too. So you might want to close your eyes if you don't want to be spoiled. But let's quickly show the Mileena brutality.
Your head will adorn my throne.
Speaking of UMK3, there's
beautiful again.
Brutality. It's top 5 coolest brutality in the game. I can't wait for people to see it.
Okay.
And the win pose, classic win pose.
Oh yeah, of course.
Always bringing it back. Let's go and let's take a look at the fatality one more time.
What a cool freeze frame at the end. Like, our cinematics team is awesome.
So great. We don't want to show every fatality day because I know people, we're going to mix that up a little bit, but you might see it before launch. We'll see. But we do want to show something. This was Derek. Derek was really into doing this. So we brought together today, we're going to show the first friendship we've shown. So we're going to show Mileena's friendship.
I love it. She cares so much about those bears.
She loves the bears, and like always, the music for friendships is just, it kills me every single time. Even when I get beat online doing friendships, I'm like, let's hear the song again.
I have one last thing about Mileena, by the way.
Okay.
I can't help myself. Lore fans of maybe like Tanya, I can't wait. You guys are gonna have a good day when the game comes out. Mileena's story stuff is awesome.
A little lore treatment for was that her ladder stuff? Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I have a lot of people have tweeted me. You know, is Tanya involved in Mileena's story in this game? Oh yeah.
So that's exciting. So that's any last things to talk about Mileena?
This
She's
is the
a ton
best
of
day
fun.
ever.
Best day ever. Okay.
I love her outfits. I think her hairstyle in the like Tarkatan kind of savage outfit is extremely cool.
The side
Her
cut.
voice is awesome. Yeah, her voice in this game. At first, it was like, that's quite different. It's more savage than she's usually portrayed, but I really like it.
Voiced by Kari Walgren, who I tweeted that I did a play with when I was like 14 years old in Kansas. So
That is
just
wild.
it all comes back around. She's awesome. I love Kari. Before we get, we're going to talk a little about balance, but before we do that, let's do birthday shout-outs real quick.
What?
Are you ready for that, Derek? Yeah.
Okay. I am always ready for
Imagine
shout-outs.
how mad the hardcore players are right now. That'd
Yeah,
be
right.
great.
I feel like this is something Tyler had planned. All right, here we go. Birthday shout-outs. Let me get this over here so I'm not looking over there. We've got Commando Rex. We've got Tyler Shornack. We got Brandon Sirius Blackbeard, at Jake Rocket, Leo JW89, Nerd Josh. We gotta love Nerd Josh.
Oh yeah.
CGL Spooky Fred, STB Shoe Jinky Dink, Delara Mileena, and Dynasty. And it goes on. We've got Kato.
Halftime. Cool.
Halftime, right? Kato. We've got Adolfo Rodriguez. We got Danny Huen. Our UX man, Jordan Hedges. Tony Rod, a.k.a. A-Rod. Tony Zafiro. And our Combat Cast host leader, Tyler drops a lot of combos, lands down.
Oh, come on.
Yay.
Thank you. The day. Thank you, Derek. It's the day after launch, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So now I want to preface this a little bit. We will have a balance patch. There's a balance patch coming with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11, but we're not going to go too deep into the woods today. There's some stuff that when we do release the patch notes, you'll be able to see it. That won't be right away. We won't be releasing those right away. So please don't tweet me every 15 minutes about where the patch notes. They'll probably be released near to when the game is released. It won't work, but I'm just,
still fine.
Hardcore players are going to be like, oh, fair enough. We'll be patient.
I think I told Honeybee. Was it Honeybee once or someone that like every time they asked me, I was going to move it back 2 hours. So we were still working on finishing all that stuff up. So we're going to tell you a little bit about it today. It probably won't be as much as we're not going to tell you as much as you want to hear today. We're going to give you some really cool stuff.
I have to say it.
Go ahead.
And I'm allowed to say this because I understand. I was one of them once, and I haven't forgotten.
Sure.
What would you even do with that information if you had it now?
That is true.
I get the
excitement.
Yeah.
I get the excitement. So, but what we I guess we're going to talk about is really some system changes to start, which is kind of more of the stuff we're going to talk about. But I think we want to start with like sort of the big thing we kind of teased last week.
I am 100 out of 10 excited. So the big change to the variation system is we are adding custom variations in Combat League and in tournament mode. You will be able to make your own variation and use them in ranked tournament play. There will be a UI thing now, which shout out our UI team. They have to be like one of the big unsung heroes of a video game studio. They are constantly working on new stuff and weird technical things to get into the game. Everyone is an unsung hero behind the scenes, but shout outs to them.
Well, it's one of those things where if you don't notice it, it's probably done really well.
Yeah, when you're playing
drives
a game,
your
you
game.
really think about it, right? So, and they're always asked to add these new situations and stuff. Anyway, when you pick your character, a little thing will come up with your variation, and now you can just go into custom, and it's kind of like the abilities screen, so you can go through it. The same rules apply. That if a move conflicts, you can't do it. And the slots, and then the one big thing is there's going to be a few moves that are actually banned from competitive play. There are some moves that, I'll use the example, Terminator's Terminate move. where we felt that they were probably a little too wild, even for Wild Wild West. They're kind of made for towers, more casual play, and
Sure.
we did not feel they were appropriate for competitive play at this time. There are not many. The vast majority of moves will be tournament legal.
This is exciting to me.
There'll be a little call out if you try to equip it. It'll say.
I created a combo back in the day with variations, which we talked about it earlier. We cannot remember the name of it with Kano, where you use Snakebite and Command Grab. I had a name for this combo in one of the early combat casts. I used to say it all the time, and I can't remember it. So please, tweet me. Remind me of what that was called. I'll be doing that. Very excited.
So here's a question for you, Stephanie. Now, say variation 2 of Mileena. Can I get rid of her run and replace that with the ball?
Yes, which I actually think is probably going to be a pretty popular thing. That's what I've been doing, is using the base variations as kind of a blueprint and then changing out one or two things. Like
Right.
Jade's, her variation 1, the zoning one I actually really like, but I like to remove upward razor ring and put in amplifying the double kick to keep you in the corner. Like a lot of I think that's actually going to be very common. And the default variations will still be there if you just want to quickly use it. Or I think it'd be great if you're new to a character and you're like, there's like 10 moves. What is going on? There's still like a good way to be like, oh, well, you can kind of get ideas for how you'd like to do it.
So Combat League, I can make my own variations and go through it right once the patch hits.
Right.
Awesome. So that's definitely one of the big, when it comes to balance, like that's a big thing. Like
in my opinion, this is the biggest potential meta shift we've introduced in Mortal Kombat 11. I have absolutely no idea what's going to go on. I have
probably in any of our games, I would say. Probably the biggest meta shift in any of our games.
That's probably actually not an outrageous. You could pitch me on that for sure. I have.
We'll talk afterwards. I got a PowerPoint for you. We'll talk about it. So let's now discuss. We were talking earlier about some system stuff.
Yes. So we've taken a look at pretty much most of the gameplay systems and made some tweaks that I think are pretty exciting. The first one I'd like to talk about is we've adjusted the hit regions, like the hurt box, on crouching characters. And this should help with a lot of inconsistencies and moves going over someone when they're crouching, like mids not hitting, stuff like that. And that's pretty much across the cast. The other thing across the cast is we've taken a look at the down pokes, down 3s, and down 1s. Most characters have had them adjusted. Some have more recovery, some have less. Like Aaron Black's, for example, now have more recovery on blocks, so you can kind of check him with one of your fast mids if you think he's going to mash them. And that's something where when the patch notes come out, you guys can absolutely go. It's going to be like Christmas. Like I would expect a lot of you to just be sitting there F5ing, waiting for it, and then as soon as it's there, someone needs to make a spreadsheet with all the changes and just go crazy. So that's pretty exciting.
And we talked about how like a lot of those too, like they differentiate between characters. So we're not going to go through character by character, obviously.
Another thing is hop attacks are now immune to down 1s until they are done and are recovering. So that's another way that you can beat bow pokes if someone's spamming them. You're kind of taking a risk. It's not the fastest thing to do in the world, but it'll just flat out beat it. So if you want to make the read, that's a good way you can do it. Another thing that's kind of neat and is going to improve the pacing of the game, make it a little bit faster, is get up animations are now adjusted to be a couple of frames faster, 4, I believe. So when you get knocked down, you'll basically get up faster. You have similar options, but it'll just be quicker. You are on the ground for less amount of time. And that also goes with what we talked about last time, where get up animation, the delayed wake up, is now just one timing. There's not short and long. It's just kind of a middle ground, and there's a little animation for it too. And I think one last thing I'd like to talk about is a change to fatal blows. Two things, actually. They, across the board, a lot of them, I think, have less pushback on block, especially like in the corner situations and stuff like that, to make them a little bit easier to punish on block. And then the second thing, which is very interesting, it's a new mechanic that some moves, we have expanded the window for a flawless block. You'll actually have 6 frames to flawless block a move, and that applies to every fatal blow. So the idea would be, if you know it's coming and you're ready for it, it will be significantly easier to flawless block, and then you get a punish. And this will also apply to other moves, which I guess we can just go straight into that, unless you guys have some thoughts on these changes.
No, no, I don't. I think I'm really excited. There's a lot of these things we've heard about, from the community. We do listen to those things, and sort of take our own direction on how we want to change the game in those sort of ways. And these were the systems that we kind of wanted to look at right now. And I think that a lot of people will be happy with these things.
Right. You're right. We do like to look at feedback. Our design team is watching streams and looking at tournament results and looking at our internal data. We actually have a vast amount of that. Like our lead designer can actually see the matchup numbers, just real results and all that. So if you're like, oh my God, Jax, he 7-3s this character, we can actually see, no, he doesn't. We have that data.
No,
yeah, you're exaggerating.
That's one of my favorite. One of my favorite things to do is to go to Paula's office and just see the matchups of Jade, Jade, Jade. Okay. It's great. Yes.
But what I was going to say is there's also a balancing act with, first you look at what is everyone, talking about, who's good, who's bad, who, then you have to kind of parse out, well, what are the players not adjusting to yet? And then maybe what's harder to deal with than we expected. But then the really tricky part, and that's where the design team really has to think about it, is what do you do to change it? Because it's easy to say, hey, this move's too strong. And it's like, well, we also don't want it to be bad. So it's a whole thing. My whole point is, yes, we do listen. Keep complaining. Not that you would stop anyway, but your voice does get through, even though you don't necessarily get a reply on Twitter. Just don't complain to me. Complain to Paulo.
Awesome. So we do have we have 2 short videos we want to show to kind of explain a couple. There's only 2 layers. Again, all the characters have some stuff in their list. We're not going to go through all of that today, but we will show a couple things right now. Who do we want to start with? What do I have here? Let's start with Jackie.
So Jackie actually has this enhanced flawless block thing with her leap. If you see that she's leaping, you can flawless block it much easier now. Let me put it this way. You kind of got to be ready for it, but it's easy enough. I can do it. And as we've established, I'm an old, and I haven't been good at games in 5 years now, and I can do it. So that's a really good barometer. And when you flawless block, you can't cancel, so that means she can't get her pressure. Now, of course, if you're sitting there waiting to flawless block, she's going to get her pressure going in other ways. She can dash up or whatever. So it's not like you literally she can't move anymore. But if you're ready for it and you're really sure she's going to leap, it's a really great option to deal with it. The second thing we showed there is her dash punch is now punishable on block. It's -12, so you can get a good jab punish and beat her up.
We know that video went really quickly, so watch the VOD. You can watch it again. Some of these videos are very short, but this is how we can't show it live like we used to. So this is how we have to do it.
Oh, Honeybee, Ketchup and Mustard, etc. will be doing a 45-minute video about that 20-second clip.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, Tom Brady already has it out.
And I'm here for it. Let's take a look at Raiden. Yeah.
So Raiden got some command changes. This move is now actually advantage on block, and it ends in an overhead, and it's really quick. So it's really awesome for mixing up with this back one pressure. And then the Super Volt move is now safe if you charge it for just slightly. And the main reason I wanted to show this is that it's an example of some of the tournament moves that you might want to use in your custom variations can be quite a bit different to get ready for the custom variation thing. Like another example would be Aaron Black's low gun is now significantly slower because previously it was the fastest projectile ever. And another example is Katana's her dancing fan, where she does the Enchantress dance and fans spin around her. That has had a significant change where there's only 1 fan instead of 3 unless she amplifies it. there's just different kind of changes like that with some of the weirder moves in the game that we've looked at.
Excellent. And you know, across the board, there's other things that will be in the patch notes, which we will get out when they are ready, probably right before we launch on November 17th. So that before, like, we're going to say our goodbyes, because at the end of this, we're going to play a short video from one of our earlier streams about sort of how the upgrades work and that sort of things for those of you who missed that. Am I missing something, DK? Oh.
Yeah. Remember the things
Go.
we talked about? Okay. Hello.
I forgot about
DK
those things.
here.
I forgot. That's
It's
on
okay.
me.
It's okay. So, starting on November 24th, there will be a race against time where you can actually earn the ultimate MK3 Mileena skin and mask. So if you guys are wondering how you're going to get that, it's going to start off in Race Against Time, so you can earn it that way for free. Starting the 18th, we're going to have some new crypt events coming live that actually have bigger bundles of rewards that I actually are really excited for. And then starting December 29th, we are going to start repeating the Combat League seasons. So if you weren't able to get in for the Season of Blood because it was X months ago, we're going to bring those back and start those again from the beginning. We're reordering the skins, so if you couldn't get to Demigod in the previous season but you really wanted that skin, it'll probably be a lower ranking, so everybody that wasn't able to get them before hopefully can now. And also, the repeats of the seasons will also have new gear and brutalities and other items for you to unlock as well. So, booyah for the people that keep asking, how am I going to get those skins? There it is.
It's a good way to do it. Sorry, I almost forgot. That was big info.
Well, that's why I'm here, you know? It's all good.
It's on me. It's on me. Awesome. So that's really it. We got Mileena, Rambo, Rain, Next Gen coming November 17th for Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11. So Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. There we go.
Be sure you pre-order it, right? So that you get the Time Warrior skins. And I believe we're just about 11 days away. So get hype.
Very hype. Very excited. I'm personally, like, I know it's been a weird year for everybody, and we are in our homes right now, and it's really exciting working in a game company to be able to bring you people playing the game something that you can really enjoy during these times. Like, that's exciting to me, and that's something that really brings me a lot of joy, and I'm sure it does for Stephanie and Derek as well. Before we go, any final words?
It's Mileena Day! Yeah.
It is Mileena Day. Stephanie?
I don't know.
She's
it's
good.
Mileena Day!
Keep rolling with Mileena. Rolling, rolling. Remember that song?
I do. But before we go, let's take a look one more time at the video that we played a couple weeks back. If you have Mortal Kombat 11 already on PS4 or Xbox One, or get Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate on PS4 or Xbox One, you can upgrade to the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S version of this game for free at no additional cost. Now, if you pre-order MK11 Ultimate, you'll get access to Mortal Kombat 11, Combat Pack 1, and Aftermath when you purchase the game. Now, if you already own Mortal Kombat 11, you can easily upgrade by pre-ordering Combat Pack 2 to get Mileena, Rain, and Rambo on November 17th. Now, any players who pre-order Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate or Combat Pack 2 will get the Time Warrior skin pack at launch, giving you 3 new skins: Dark Web Noob Saibot, Halt and Catch Fire Liu Kang, and Blood Code Scarlet. Now, here's something I've been getting a lot on Twitter, so I want to explain this. If you upgrade your PS4 game to the PS5 version, as long as you are signed in with the PlayStation ID, the same one, your inventory, rewards, character variation, and time crystals will carry over, as well as anything purchased with time crystals. Previous Tower of Time and Crypt progression will carry over as well. Story progression, unfortunately, will not carry over to PS5, but any rewards earned by any sort of campaign completion will carry over. Settings, files, and stats in your combat card will not carry over to PS5. And finally, for the Xbox users, if you upgrade your Xbox One game to the Xbox Series S or X version, as long as you are signed in with the same Xbox login, all inventory, rewards, character variations, progression, time crystals will carry over, as well as anything you purchased with time crystals. Now, you will still need to download your local save data from the cloud, or transfer via USB to carry over custom settings or any sort of combat cast stats. But that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet us. We can explain it better. 11 days, Derek says, 11 days. We cannot wait to see you playing the game. Thank you so much for joining us for all of these combat casts. Thank you to the team behind the cameras and everything helping us. It's been a real joy to be able to bring these to you, and we will see you next time.